I had a road accident in June of 1999. I was out on my afternoon walk and a guy came along in a van. He was trying to deal with animals in the back of his van without stopping, so he was turned around and he hit me, and it was serious. I broke most of the ribs on the right side of my body. Fractured hip, fractured pelvis, tibia fractured in 9 or 10 places. Really, the guy described this area of my leg down here from knee to ankle as so many marbles in a sack.
Are you okay?
No, I broke my leg. Oh man, my damn leg.
When I got started on DREAMCATCHER, I couldn't really work on a word processor because it was too uncomfortable to try to sit at a desk for any period of time. But I wanted to write because it's my drug. It takes me away. When I'm writing, I'm in another world. You don't feel the pain or anything for that period of time that you're writing. So I had a bunch of ledger books and I wrote the book longhand. I've had people say to me, I don't understand why you want to write horror stories all the time. And my reaction is, I don't write horror stories all the time. I write stories the way that any novelist does about the relationships that people have with one another and the interactions they have with one another. I wanted to write a story that was pretty much set in one cabin. I want to write a story about guys and what guys are like when they're on their own, and I visualized a hunting camp, and I really wanted to write an old-fashioned monster story, an invasion from space type story. But the other thing that I wanted to do with DREAMCATCHER is what you're looking for if you write stories that are scary. You're looking for the taboo zone. You're looking for a place where ordinarily the door is closed and we don't go beyond that door. And it used to be that the taboo zone was the bedroom, but eventually the movies got beyond the bedroom door. And I thought to myself, well, is there a door that's still closed anymore? And the answer was, yes, it's true. The bathroom door is a place that we don't go anymore. And I started to think about the bathroom as being a room where really a lot of nasty discoveries are made. I would guess that probably 60 to 70% of our first realization that maybe we have a tumor.
I've written Star Wars movies, Raiders. I've written effects movies and never made one. And so I had directed 9 movies without ever doing an effects movie. And I wanted to do it, and the advances in effects were only more enticing to me. You know, it became easier to do amazing things.
In this film, DREAMCATCHER, we had a wide variety of tasks to undertake for Larry. There was 5 or 6 major sequences, and each had a different trick we had to come up with. So it really presented for us a wide variety of challenges, from the creatures derived from the original concept drawings by Crash McCurry to the big ground battle sequence as well. Larry wanted to make something that was definitely alien, yet it had to look real. So our biggest challenge was to ground it in reality, and I think that was the difficult thing we had, because he didn't want it to look like a snake or anything that was earthbound, yet he wanted it to look like you could touch it.
And so that was quite a challenge because, again, he was willing to go way out there. He said, you know, I want it to be strange, I want it to be something completely new. But on the other hand, I was very concerned with making it somewhat real.
In the bathroom sequence, we had to work closely with the practical weasels. They shot with a puppet weasel that was being held and grasped and wrestled with. And then wherever the weasel had to turn and open his mouth and threaten, the CG puppet that we created was used to give it that impossibly quick response.
So we had to kind of turn off our animator brains that say, oh, it's shaped like this, so it should move like this, and kind of get into Larry's world, which was just a peculiar sort of motion that he had in his head that we had to try and capture. And it has a little bit of stretching and compressing, but then also the front 2/3 of it or so are kept semi-rigid as it kind of snakes along and when it lifts its head. Then the animation is passed off to the technical directors who light the creature, apply all the textures, and actually place it in the scene and make sure the lighting matches and all that stuff.
For the film, what we have is something that's called Mr. Gray A or Mr. Gray B. And all that Mr. Gray is, or Mr. Gray A, is the
Here's the Duddits, our dream catcher. Wish he was here.
A circle of friendship.
To the Duds. To Douglas Cavell.
To Duddits. A web of mystery.
Jonesy?
Yeah, Beef?
You be careful.
Be careful of what? A pattern of fear.
And where are they all going?
It's not where they're going that worries me. It's what are they running away from? Form the design of an alien invasion.
I've quarantined the entire area. Nothing leaves alive.
I'll tell you what you should be worried about. A hitchhiker. That's been our greatest fear. Somebody who could pass for one of us.
You're not Jonesy.
These are Americans. The idea of slaughtering Americans just turns my stomach.
Jonesy. Man, I can't see this.
What do you want?
Come with me, Owen. I'll show you things you wish you'd never seen.